2023, baby. It's all happening. Now for something completely different. I'm going to prattle on while Mick sorts everything out. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our first VCQ live for 2023. How lovely. We've missed you. I've missed you. I don't want to speak for Mick, but I'm pretty sure.
You.
Yeah.
I've missed you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to VCQ. Oh, BV. Hello, BV.
BV in the house. Hey, mate.
BV in the house.
Hope you're awesome, buddy.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah.
You know, if you're into calendars and years and things like that. Groovy. Let us know you can hear and see us. Some things have changed. Some things are the same.
Indeed. Patrick Ledendecker says, is it cold in there? No, I just feel very comfortable with my scarf on.
Dan, those of you regular viewers will know that Dan is from the continent of Australia. Is it Australasia or is it Australia? What's the continent?
Australia.
Is it?
Well, Australia. There's no way. It's just Australia.
Doesn't the continent include other things?
Australasia?
Yeah. Anyway, Dan's from Australia, where it's a bit warmer than it is here, so he's always cold.
Yeah.
Don22B wants to know, when am I going to be invited on the show? Come anytime, Don. Michael Murphy. Hello, Michael, from the USA.
Gordon Rankinson, g'day, mate.
Hello, Gordon.
Yeah. Jazz Floundered. Michael Murphy. Yes, how was everyone's Christmas? How was everyone's New Year?
Hello from Albuquerque, says Adam D. Hello, Adam.
Albuquerque. Where's Chilton? G'day, mate.
Hello, Wes. Happy New Year from Long Island, New York, says Zoot Allure.
There's Little Town Blues. They're melting away.
Brian Barrett's on. Looking good on the Chesapeake Bay.
How lovely.
Nice.
How lovely.
Albus Band, Aaron Legends. Howdy all. Howdy, Aaron. Sir Key says, woohoo, they're back. That's what we like. Enthusiasm. Imagine that, Dan.
Yeah, imagine.
Just imagine.
I've enjoyed Christmas and New Year. It's been really lovely, but I'm really looking forward to. I've been looking forward to this. Really looking forward to filming tomorrow, getting to make some noise again. Be lovely.
If you have any ideas for shows, let us know.
Yeah, anything that you want to see, yeah, throw those in the comments. That would be fantastic.
Because we have to go home and think about it.
Yeah, we'd rather not think about it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see. We've changed a few things on the audio to try and get rid of some of the noise, so still fighting with levels a bit. It's always a bit of a crapshoot.
Crapshoot, is that right?
Yeah, craps, the game.
Oh, it's not a crab shoot.
No.
Right.
You don't want to shoot crabs.
No. I was going to say, it's a weird thing. Why would you shoot crabs?
Yeah, too much shell.
Okay, crap shoot.
Crap shoot,
okay.
yes.
It's a very explosive.
Although
year.
I suppose if you were a crap shoot, you wouldn't hit any crabs. Welcome to VCQ. Here we go again. Ranzer, Happy New Year from Israel. Hello, Ranzer.
G'day, mate.
Chris Dunn, Happy New Year from San Diego.
San Diego. The meaning of which has been lost over time.
Benjamin says, craps is the greatest gambling game.
Don't know. Had a rather large Christmas meal and that was that. Sorry.
Was that a gambling game?
No, it was craps.
Oh, I see. I see. A craps gag.
The craps gag.
Okay, let us get into the questioners.
Rick Mason says, shout out to my wife who got me a TPS t-shirt for Christmas. And thanks for the Christmas note from you guys. Oh, mate, you're very welcome.
Thanks, Rick's wife.
Yes, and yeah, thank you for buying a t-shirt. And thank you to anyone that's bought merch and stuff over the holiday period or at any time previous. It's greatly appreciated. It helps us. It is the reason that we can do what we do. So yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Wow.
Okay, I'm going to turn the super chats off.
We're there already.
Because
wow.
we've got off to a flying start. So those of you who have super chatted already, we shall answer you. For anyone else, please no more super chats because we is full. If I can work out how to do it, Dan. That's the main problem, I think. Right, super chai. Off you go.
Super chai.
Turn off. And it actually has turned them off.
Oh, well done. What, you didn't have to log out and then spin around and face north and just did it?
Bow to the gods of YouTube.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. North Guitars says, got myself an AC. I'm assuming, sorry, this is an A30 over Christmas. I'm assuming you mean an AC30. I've never really been a fan until I heard Dan's, so I thought I'd try one. Wow, amazing. Yeah, they really are amazing. I've got plans actually for Vox style things in the new year. Going to be making a video with our mate Paul from Zilla Cabs. I'm going to be rehousing my 1959 AC10 Twin. I'm going to put it in a TV front like the old AC15.
Nice.
And that's going to be the centre of a wet rig. It's going to be epic and I'm really excited. I had not intended to tell anyone about it, but of course it's the first thing I do.
It's the first thing you do. I don't believe we've ever had Dan's AC10 in anger on the show.
No.
It is an astonishing sounding amp. Following Friday's video, which we'll talk about in a sec, quite a few people in the comments were like, I've got an AC10 and it's way too loud. Dan's AC10 is way louder than our AC15.
Yeah, right.
By a mile.
Yeah.
So how the hell that works, I don't know, but there we are. Paul Goff is a great human being, says Old Wood Smells Good.
Yes, indeed.
Neil says, are the two of you somehow in different climates inside the same room? We are by birth. I'm a Northern Hemisphere person who likes Arctic conditions.
Right.
Dan is a Southern Hemisphere person who likes warmth.
Have you been to Australia?
Yes.
And how did you find it? Were you hot all the time?
I was in Melbourne, so it was temperate.
So you were hot and cold and sort of clammy and then freezing and then all by lunch.
Yes, I've never been to Uluru or the Gold Coast.
Okay.
Or Darwin.
Okay. Darwin gets hot. Oh,
yeah.
man.
No.
Airlie Beach, that gets hot.
Yeah, I don't mind the hot, but I like the cold. I like the cold. Right. So, the first super chat
for 2023
of 2023. It's supposed to make more of a ting sound. Perfect.
Fantastic.
It goes to Wastel10. Wastel10, hello. Hi Toes, great video on guitar and amp only. Like you have shown, the problem is not to get a good sound, but to manage the levels. What do you think of switchable master volumes, like on some DSLs?
Interesting.
Yeah, my Lone Stars have switchable master volumes.
Yeah, can work great.
Yeah, the problem with the Lone Star is you then have to use the effects loop, and the effects loop doesn't sound very good to me anyway. Right. So I don't want to use the effects loop in the Lone Star because I think it makes the amp sound worse. And that's the only way you can use the master volume, by dint of which is to say that every usability, practicality feature brings with it some element of compromise.
You're saying that every rose has its thorn?
Every cowboy. Is that Poisson? Is that
Poisson?
Poisson?
It is indeed Poisson.
Yeah. That is. Oh, let's start 2023 on a bitchy note. That is a dreadful guitar sound, isn't it? Isn't it?
CC DeVille. It's awesome.
I don't know who played it.
Come on.
I don't know how many MIDI messages there were. I just.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, no, let's not do that. So yeah, I think they're a great idea, switchable master volumes, because if you do like to crank the amp and then that helps you do that. Personally speaking, that's how I ended up with a single channel amp and pedals, because I could do all that from the pedal board and it was much more predictable than having to get into that cranking the amp all the time, which is a flipping glorious sound, or can be. But for me, doing it all from the board with an amp that's just on the edge, it's just a different way of doing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Different way of doing it.
Indeed. But
Different way of playing.
I've been having a play with that switchable master volume thing of late, and it's really great. It's really great.
Yeah. Yeah, no right or wrong, is there? It's just what you're used to and what enables you to do the gig or the performance or the rehearsal or playing at home or whatever it is you do, to do it without being bothered by the gear too much.
Yeah. And again, everything comes back to gain structure with that stuff. Everything.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Hello, gents from Melbourne, Florida.
Ooh, I didn't know there was a Melbourne in Florida.
There is, says Michael Corrigan. Well,
Lovely.
Melbourne FL, which I'm assuming is Florida. I'm looking for a vintage AC30 sound and feel. Is a Korg era the best shout for the money to achieve that sound? Anything in particular I should look for in one?
Okay. The Korg era is great. The most important thing, because they're quite the circuit's quite simple. That same could be said for any valve amp. The blue speaker is a massive part of that Vox sound. Saying that our AC15 sounds great and it's got a greenback in it.
For those of you who don't understand the Korg thing, Vox in the 60s and late 50s, Jennings, blah blah blah. It then went through a whole bunch of weirdness, and there was a load of stuff in the middle, a bit like Gibson and Fender. It's like wilderness years. This is a précis, obviously. At some point, Korg buys Vox, reissues, and I think the amps you're talking about are the non-master volume AC30 reissues that you saw throughout the 90s, I guess.
Right.
And certainly loads of the indie bands would use them.
Sure.
They had the copper top panels. They had no master volume, and they were, all intents and purposes, a new master volume. A lot of them were built by Marshall, as it goes. In fact, Martin Kidd worked on some of those.
Really?
He did.
Okay.
And then Korg still owns Vox, as far as I'm aware. What came after that was the CC and the custom 15s and 30s, which do have a master volume, and that's the one that we've got. And they've been around for a long time.
Yep.
Probably since the late 90s, maybe.
And you know what? They sound fantastic.
I was going to say, I would choose one of those
I
over
agree.
the previous. If you can crank it and you can get it breathed on, because we know plenty of people for whom they weren't massively reliable, those amps. They used to go through tubes quite a lot. And I'm sure one that's well maintained and well looked after is completely fine, and loads of people use them no problem. But I do remember seeing a couple of bands who had 3 lined up on stage for when one of them went. And they would pull that one out and bring the next one forward. Gross generalisation. However, me and Dan really like the master volume ones.
I think they sound amazing. And the AC15, I love the reverb in it.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Yeah.
And the Vox has done reverb, but like the AC10s could come factory with reverb, like from the 60s. And so it's not that they haven't done reverb before. But I really like those CC Vox amps.
Yeah.
I think they sound fantastic.
Apparently there's a difference between CC and custom, so there's 2 different ones. I do remember one that had switchable bias. You could hot bias it and cooler bias it.
So that is the AC15 reissue TV panel. There's a black panel, and you could switch it between 7 watts and 15 watts and change the bias on it from the top panel.
Yeah.
And it also had an EF86 input channel as well.
Yeah.
And
there's a hardwired one they do like that as well.
yeah, amazing.
So there's been quite a few. A lot of people really swear by the hardwired ones. Some people swear at them to finish that gag. And they're really cool.
Yeah.
As for the vintage AC30 sound, Dan?
I'm really sorry to tell you this.
Yeah, there you go.
I've had my old AC30 in studios where people have plugged it in, mic'd it up, and just said, I've always wanted to hear a Vox sound like that, and I've never heard one sound like that. It's like, how does your Vox sound like that? Well, it's from 1961. What have you done to it? Nothing. Okay. And you just like original speakers, everything's original. You just turn it up and it just sounds like that. But like with all those things, it's got to sit in a place, and that place is loud. But it's a very, very special thing.
I reckon value for money, usability of master volume.
The CC versions.
The CCs, they're called CC1, I think, is the AC15, and CC2 is the 30, I think.
Mm.
There was even an AC15 twin, a 212,
Right.
which was great too. So,
Yeah, I'd go for those ones.
Yeah, good luck with that,
Yeah.
because they're really cool amps, actually.
Indeed.
We should acquire a 30. I think we'd end up using it quite a bit.
Okay.
I prefer it by some measure over the 15.
Really?
Mm.
Okay.
Just bigger,
Yeah,
innit?
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Salazar says, Dan, I feel like you should be sitting down reading us a chapter from a book with that divine look on some PBS channel. Looking classic, my dude. I really want to do VCQs with sort of high back leather chairs and you know,
We are going to redo the set
Smoking jackets.
because it is quite a lot to be sat on these stools for 2 hours.
that's part of the reason I have this. So
Right.
it sort of helps me,
Yeah.
you know, I'm trying not to do this, but
Yeah, good luck, Michael. Find a master volume one, we'd say, unless you get to crank it, in which case go for one of the earlier ones. But if you do what most of us do most of the time, get one of the master volume ones, and I don't think you'll be unhappy with that.
no, they sound great.
Eric Zenhausen. Hello, Eric.
Hello, Eric.
Happy New Year, gents. New year, new tones. I got a deal on a Reverend Sensei RA I couldn't refuse. It's my first true humbucker guitar after a lifetime of playing single coils. I'm looking for tips on pedals that do and don't work well with humbuckers.
Ooh, that's a great question. The reality is, if you like the sound of the guitar, it all depends on what you want it to do, because the way a humbucker guitar will go into an overdrive pedal, basically the output from a humbucker guitar, it reaches its maximum voltage quicker than a single coil guitar. So you will get, if you put it into like a tube screamer or a blues breaker or whatever, you get to that point where the pedal is creating distortion quicker and easier with the humbuckers, but that'll be the same thing into an amplifier or whatever. And also, there are humbuckers and there are humbuckers. Mixed gold top Les Paul sounds vastly different to my Les Paul, which sounds vastly different to the PRS, which sounds vastly different to the
335.
You know.
Yeah. You were going to say the Blue Meanie, weren't you, Dan?
I was going to say the Blue Meanie.
Yeah, yeah.
That's killer, that thing.
We like this guitar so much. We're getting Dean to build us one in the equivalent flake sparkle nitro orange. Because we decided we really needed a guitar of this nature, like a vintage style S type, but with dual humbuckers. I definitely didn't want a Floyd because I just can't play them, but like a proper vintage Strat trem on a Super Strat type guitar.
Yes. It is a wicked looking thing. Yeah, so it's not about will it work with humbuckers. It's will it work with that particular guitar with those particular pickups. And it's the same question for any guitar, because the difference in output is vast.
I find, for what it's worth, being a lifelong Strat player who has more recently been, in my life, normal gigs are either 100% Strat or 80% Strat and something else. These days, it's more like 50-50 I'll play a humbucker guitar for.
Really?
Well, last 5 or 6 gigs has been that. And in general, what I've found is, for the humbucker guitars, surprise, surprise, less gain, less bass. So with the amp on the edge, I find that I'm probably not stepping on the tube screamer for the humbucker guitars.
Right.
I'm more likely to use a clon type or a boost to push the amp and to get rid of some bass.
Okay.
Now, a tube screamer would get rid of some bass, but it's too compressed and there's too much overdrive, so the guitar just feels too spongy when there's too much gain for me.
Sure. But if you're a metal player...
That's exactly what you want.
Perfect.
But
exactly
for me,
that.
I like to feel the pick under the fingers. I like it always to be responsive and fast. So that means less gain, less bass. And that seems to work really well. So really, this is... I mean, it's too simplistic, but I'm going to say it anyway. I always find with humbucker guitars, boosts, shapers, like treble boost, full range boost, something with not much gain, I love with humbucker guitars. And then the gainier it gets, I'm like, not so sure.
Yeah.
Until you get into Dumble territory, and that's a whole other world.
Yeah. But see, I think a stock DS1 with humbuckers can sound flippin' awesome.
Depends on your music, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 Just to add to that, the one effect that I find challenging with humbuckers is compressors.
Right.
Really easy to dial into a killer compressed tone with single coils because of their dynamic range.
Yeah.
And they really suit that squish. But humbuckers, of course, depending on the humbucker, but compressors I find much more challenging to get that decent thing out of. Just not needed generally.
Yeah, it's a different thing, right?
Yep. Chris Quinn says, when are you getting some Barber pedals on the show? I've actually been in touch with David. We had a gentleman that joined us for a experience day who had a Barber. It was a tone press EQ, and it just sounded unflipping believable. So I got in touch with David and said, we haven't had any Barber pedals on the show, to our great shame. Please help us rectify this. I need one of your Automatone press EQ things. So, yeah, he's going to build one for me. I'm going to pay for it.
We'll get on to
and
that.
it's going to be on the show, and I'm looking forward to it.
Speaking of Davids, we've got another David coming on the show next week.
Not that one.
Not that one. Love it. Love it. Not that one. No, we've got David. What have you got on the back of your phone then?
What?
Is that a cover?
Yeah, this is the covers, and this is the little lens covers. They're separate.
Are they?
Yeah. I got them on
What,
phone.
as standard?
Well, no, this is I got the cover for the phone,
Oh, I see.
and that comes with the cover to put the little lens things on,
So what are the lens things?
just to stop scratching the lenses.
So lens covers.
Yeah. Look.
Do you have to take it off when you take pictures?
No. That's...
So they make something that you need to add something. They make something that costs £1,400 that you then have to add something to.
But you got a case for your phone.
Not for the lens covers.
Well, these lenses stick out so much that they've had... Oh, I don't know. It came with it. I put them on. It seems to work.
Oh, it's great. Is it nice? Is that the 14?
It's the 14.
Is it good?
No.
Right.
It's buggy as you like.
Is it?
It really is.
Anyway, yeah, good luck, Eric, with your humbuckers. Hope you enjoy them. One nice, I don't know if your Reverend's got it. What a lot of Reverend guitars has got that third pot, which you can roll off a bunch of low end, which is really, really good.
Speaking of Reverend guitars, we have a Reverend guitar player going to be on the show with us soon, which is Reeves Gabrell.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so anyone that knows Reeves...
I know Reeves the baker.
So Reeves plays guitar in The Cure. He also played guitar for David Bowie. And he's got, I think, a couple of signature Reverend guitars.
Wicked.
And I've known Reeves for years and years. So been having a conversation with him recently, and he's like, "Yep, let's do it." So he's going to come in and it's going to be awesome.
Nice, that'd be great.
He's amazing.
By the way, the David who is coming on the show is not David Gilmour, it is David Ranger.
Yes.
He's coming on the show.
Fantastic.
Which will be very nice.
Scott Gaylor, Tin Machine. Yes, he played in Tin Machine with Sir David of Bowie.
Should old acquaintance be forgot, says Raf Freitas. Hello, Raf. Glad you're back. You were missed. How do you prepare for a gig, including learning new songs? Do you have a routine you stick to, says Raf Freitas.
Depends on the song. I've got a song that I'm working on at the moment. It's going to take me a year. So, and it depends. When I was doing the cover thing, we got to a point in that band, we had, I think, 2 rehearsals before our first gig. We never had another rehearsal in like 10 years. Because we all sort of knew who would do which harmony and that. And if we're going to do a new song, we'd learn it. And we said, this is the arrangement. Yeah. And we'd learn it and we'd do it at the gig.
Do it a sound check, maybe?
Maybe. Yeah, if there was any parts that we
just
were...
to run it, yeah.
Yeah. But it depends on... Right. If there's a tricky part that you are going to play, I find it helpful for me I've got to practice something, not to get it right, but I've got to practice something until I can't get it wrong. It's because otherwise I get this thing where I get wrapped up inside my head too much and it's like, it's red dot fever.
Yeah.
It's really, really tricky. So I will run things over and over and over, but I love that process. I'm sure there are much better ways to do it. But for me, I will run things over and over and over.
Depends on the tune, doesn't it? So I would say if you're familiar with the song, that is a lot of the battle done. So if I'm not familiar, when we had to learn all the stuff for the Timmins gig, for example, I'd make a playlist that was available on whatever device I had, and then when I walk the dog in the morning, before I go anywhere near a guitar, I listen to that song 50 times, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not 50, but certainly a good 10 to get going. The first time I pick up a guitar will be not plugged in. I'll be sat on my computer. I'll write the words out on a Word document or whatever, and then I will put the chords as they change over the words, because I'm usually singing as well, and if I'm not singing, I will be singing harmonies, so you need that.
The reason why that's really important, sorry to interject there, is that you need a way to navigate through the tune. You need a way to know where you are. So if you're the guitar player and you've got to learn the guitar parts, you still need to know the song, because you need to know, okay, this is the verse and this is the second verse, and coming up after this is the middle 8. So it's really important that it's not just knowing the chords, that you know the lyrics as well, so that you can navigate your way through the tune.
And as a process in doing that, I will be sat at a computer. So if I'm not sure of the voicing, I can then have a listen or watch a tutorial video, or normally you can just hear it. But if you can't hear it, there was a couple parts in Owner of a Lonely Heart I just couldn't work out, so I found a tutorial video and watched that. And then build it up that way. So technically, you've got the chords, you've got any specific parts you need to learn. Kind of, they won't be routined, but you've got them in. And then I'll do that for a while. I'll play through that maybe 10 or 20 times before going anywhere near an amp, before thinking about any sound, before making any volume at all, so that by the time I hit the volume in the amp and start working on the sound, it's in.
You already got it.
I'm not thinking about how to play it at that point.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking about doing at that point is what Dan was talking about, is it being a natural. So it just comes out. You're not struggling then about how to play it. What you are then thinking about is putting it over. And then that is about your sound, and it's about the commitment you give the part and all the rest of it. That might all sound a bit serious, but lately I found that that's it. And if you're not quite there, if you get to the point, because all of this is time bound, right? So you get to the point where it's like, okay, I've run out of time. Go. Just go. Do the best you can at that point. And what you'll find is it's usually all right.
Yeah, yeah.
And your adrenaline takes over, and you could be sweating about it, and you could be thinking, "Oh God, I'm nowhere near this."
Yeah, don't let the great be the enemy of the good.
That's nice, Dan.
You like that?
I really like that.
It's nice, isn't it?
Who's that by?
I was on a political podcast that I heard. It's just, I can't remember who said it, but it's really good.
And then you just do, and then you just do. So yeah, but I think separating out that initial learning process, without worrying about sound or any of that, I find that useful to chunk it. So you're not
Chunking is a new thing to me. I've just discovered it. It's really interesting.
Yeah. So bite off the bit that you're doing and then move on to the next bit. So that's how I would approach it.
Yeah.
And then what I would end up with is a whole bunch of A4 sheets, if you like, with the chords out. If I'm still not sure, and I've done this on my last 3 gigs, I'll then turn those into PDFs, stick them on my iPad, so I've got them there in front of me when we're doing the gig, because there's some stuff I just can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And bizarrely, quite often the less complex it is, the harder I find it is to remember. Like playing Oasis songs, which are all G, E minor, A minor, C. I can never remember what's next because there's so many common notes in the chords.
But they'll switch around. It's the same thing like playing America.
Yeah.
But they're all the same chords, but they're all mixed up. It's like, oh, yeah.
Anyway, Ruff, we hope that some of that's useful. Mick, are you considering a detailed vlog on the 61, says Raff. Again, Raff Ratus. I had a new guitar day last week, Fiesta American Vintage 2 61 for my 40th, and 0.1 UF caps rule. Yes, they do. I can't explain why, but yes, they do. Because you think you're going to get all the benefit from the smaller cap.
Right.
But it's so instrumental in how the rest of the guitar sounds.
Yeah. The 1 UF.
Yeah.
0.1 UF.
Yeah. I don't know why. I've got no idea why, but I agree with you. I think it also has quite a significant effect on the cleanup as well. But anyway. Nice on that American Vintage 2. I have yet to see one, but I'm hearing really good things. So
excellent.
Good on you. Will I do a 61 vlog? Maybe. I've done the refret, and we've talked about it in another show, so we might be going over a lot of ground.
Yeah.
But,
Ed, g'day mate, he says, perfect as the enemy of the good was originally quoted by Voltaire in 1770.
Oh, wow.
He uses it at work a lot. Working man's alternative is just get on the bus. Very good.
JFDI is another short one that we use around here a lot. Joe Halliday's on. Joe from Hello Sailor Effects. Hi, Joe.
G'day, mate.
He says, D&M, great show on Friday. That Matchless is hot. It is. Mick, have you mentioned acquiring... no, you have mentioned acquiring a hardwired tube screamer. I've been procrastinating over the SRV modified version of this circuit for some years. I have built one for you to check out.
Oh,
Joe,
mate.
bless you. I don't know what the SRV mod is on a tube screamer. Anyone know?
Oh, I don't know. I wonder if it's anything to do with taking rid of a buffer, because I know that like the Eternity is basically a very similar to a tube screamer design with buffers taken out. I wonder if that's a similar thing.
Yeah, someone will come in the comments a minute and let us know what it is. Joe, that is exceptionally kind of you. Thank you. I was hovering over the buy button on reverb.com on a hardwired tube screamer, and I just had a word with myself and said, really? You're almost 50 years old. You've got over 100 overdrive pedals, some nice amps and nice guitars. You really don't need a hardwired tube screamer.
I spent a small fortune on reverb over the Christmas holidays.
Did you? What did you buy? Oh God, I shouldn't say this because someone's going to go and buy it. But Andersons have got a very nice used custom shop SG at the moment.
Really?
It's still too much money, unfortunately.
Oh, no. Okay.
But it's cheap for what it is. So.
Right. Okay.
Don't need any more guitars.
No.
Except an SG. What did you buy on Reverb?
There's a couple of old Pearl things that I found that I've been doing for a while.
Yeah.
Old Pearl phaser. Yeah. I've just been... Because, you got to look at something And then reverb's brilliant in the way it says, "Do you like that? Have a look at this.
Have a look at this.
Yeah, so I ran down a few rabbit holes.
I've been looking at loads of studio gear. We had a couple of Neve 1073s on loan or a single rack channel with 2 channels of Neve 1073 in, which is there from Ainsley Lister. Lent it to us.
Did you make that rack?
No, it's Ainsley's.
It's lovely.
Anyway, and certainly for the last probably 4 or 5 months, that's what you've been hearing. The main guitars, amp mics here go through those 1073 pre's, and they just sound. However, we also have, which we'd been using previously, which we'll go back to using, are some Meris 440s, which also sound.
They sound amazing. Yeah.
So I just wanted to hear the difference between the Neves and the Merises, and actually the Meris stands out really, really well.
And the Meris has got more flexible EQ on it.
A little bit more EQ on it, yeah. So I've been looking at loads of studio gear. It's you think guitar gear is depressing? Studio gear is a whole other level of depressing.
Yeah, and you would get more depressed. Look at camera gear. I've been looking at fitting out some stuff at work. It's like, step away. Because it's the same thing. As soon as you start looking at cameras and lights, and then
What do you need?
I'm going to get just to do a couple of live ball builds and shenanigan. But it's like, okay, who's going to be doing it? Because everyone's going to be fitted with some sort of mic, or is the camera mic going to be enough? Because all that stuff, there's always compromise.
Always.
And
there's no way of doing it properly that isn't horrifically expensive.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
And you can do it really well for much less money, but then what you need is a great deal of skill.
Yeah.
And someone who knows all the workarounds and the fixes and the little things that aren't quite right about that, so you've got to fix it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That ain't me, baby. Anyway.
Thanks, Joe. Michael Giliberto. Hello, Michael. Let's see if anyone's told us what the SRV... Gordon says, have a look at the 500 series modules. Yeah, that's what our Meris is, Gordon, and it's really
fantastic.
good.
They're really great.
Real big fan of those. Mick has SG gas. Please, someone call his doctor and prevent him from suffering GS gas. Mick, did I miss the TC 2290 Mesa 5050 episode? No, we didn't get a 2290 in the end. Maybe we'll get one at some point. Just go straight for the Vemuram TSV 0808. Yes, Shed, I agree, but they are £800. And even I think that's too much money for an overdrive pedal. SRV mod, says David Tompkins, pour beer on it. The Juggernaut says, I thought the SRV mod was a second tube screamer. Yeah, could be. Anyone else know?
Do not know.
Yeah.
I've got to show you this video that I found with SRV doing some like a little pre-interview thing he was doing.
Yeah.
And he was just talking about his right hand, and there was a picture of him, like coming right close to his hand. His pick is the flattest I've ever seen anyone play.
Really?
Dead flat, and like pushing it down like this.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I think I know the video you're talking about.
Yeah, and it sounds so ridiculously good.
Does he play Rude Mood?
I don't know. Yes. Yeah. And it's like, and so what is that? And he says it right down. And you see the pick on the string is like dead flat. And it's like, yeah, it's great.
I've never heard of an SRV mod, says Scott Gaylor. Now I'm curious. Okay, Joe, you've got to let us know what the mod is. Is it with the treble booster before it? Because I know that was...
Let's find out what it is, and we'll do a big video. Sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan with this simple Marty tube screamer.
Michael Giliberto. Hi, Michael. Happy New Year, TPS family. Happy New Year to you, mate.
Happy New Year, mate.
How about an episode revisiting volume levels at which your rig wakes up? while introducing the variable of room size. That's very interesting.
I loved that example that you gave when you did that thing with Joe Bonamassa, our mate, Joe B.
Yeah, our buddy. We know him so well now. He's just yeah.
Hey, don't you? But so, and the example that he gives. So you had a little champ in the bathroom, which sounded godlike.
Mm.
And he said, "Yeah, I can do this with the champ in the bathroom, but if I'm playing the Royal Albert Hall, I need 116 dB."
Oh.
And it's very dependent on environment.
Yeah. Volume, I think, is going to be a topic we get into a bit more this year. There's quite a lot of very angry comments on Friday's video saying, "You idiots, no one can play that loud anymore." Well, A, yes they can, but B, we take the point that a lot of people can't. Both Dan and I have definitely been teetering on the edge of some hearing issues this year.
Yeah, you know what the craziest thing is? You know what caused damage in my ear? The toilet.
Yeah, you've said it's the toilet. Mine was an experience day.
Yeah, okay.
And then I dropped something in the sink.
Okay.
And you might all think this is like cobblers, because the consistent high volume in here certainly will be doing some low level damage without any shadow of a doubt. But what you got to remember about that is that when you are playing the guitar, you are in control.
Yeah.
And me and Dan know pretty well where the point is. Nevertheless, we've both having a bit of a twinge, so we've been talking about ways in which we can play a little bit quieter, and we're probably going to have to make some changes to the room because it's so dead in here.
Yeah. That suddenly, you know, it doesn't feel loud at all.
Doesn't
You
feel
turn around,
loud.
it's 108 dB.
So we need to make it feel a bit louder, and we might need to make the room a bit more reflective in order to do that. And that sort of tees into your question about, you know, maybe it's as much about room constitution, for want of a better word, the way a room is made up, as it is the actual size. So I think we'll get into discussing that. I'm, hand on heart, I am worried that trying to learn how to enjoy guitar quietly is going to be a challenge.
I don't think it needs to be quiet. We don't have to. There's a point where the guitar comes alive, and that is absolutely fine.
Which is exactly what you were saying,
Yeah, absolutely
Michael.
fine. So I've seen a couple of videos recently that have made me angry, right? And two videos in particular where they've been filming a jam. It's been a guitar player, bass player, keyboard player, and drummer. It's just, you know, acoustic mics, drums, absolutely banging, bass banging, keys banging, and then the guitar player. Both of these videos, both obviously incredible players, because you can just about hear them. But I think as we've gotten so used to, if you can hear it, you're too loud. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So check this out, right? I've been doing this thing at practice where even with my headphones on, and I've got the band mix, and I get the guitar so I can hear it. It's like, okay, there's that. But if I'm too quiet in the mix, I'm trying to overcompensate here.
Yeah.
The guitar has to be loud enough so that it makes a difference the way you play. Because if you can't, by easing back off the attack of the pick of the strings, and then by, you know, if you can't come down to a level where you can still be heard, and then when you push it, it goes up to a level where things are heard, then what are you doing?
Yeah. So much is player dependent, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I've done sound. I've done a fair bit of live sound in my days. Usually at things that are sort of less professional, you know, things like outside fun days and the jam day at the local pub and stuff like that, and where you that's a proper challenge doing that kind of stuff, because you're met with all kinds of gear and all kinds of variances in players, and almost invariably I always find the guitar too damn loud,
Right.
and it's a quarter of the volume that I would play at
Yeah.
because of the way it's being played.
Yeah. Absolutely. So look, I think there's a conversation to be had, because volume isn't about volume. You know what I mean? It's not about being loud.
It's not about dB level.
No, absolutely.
No, it's about the makeup of
If
that.
someone comes up to you and says, your guitar's too damn loud, there's something, it's not about the volume. There's something that's, you know, dare I say it, as a player, I've been in, like, seen loads of gigs where the guitars are blisteringly loud and never thought, oh, that was too loud. When saw Idols in London, and they both have got 200-watt amps each on stage, and they are cranked. And it was like, it was perfect.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
You know?
anyone that came to the TPS gigs with Andy Timmons, Andy was, I mean, we were all hella loud. Andy was just amazingly, wonderfully, beautifully loud. I would love to know if anyone thought it was too loud.
Yeah.
No one that I've spoken to did, including either of the sound engineers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we had one sound engineer literally in tears. Literally in tears. Going, I'd given up hope of ever hearing guitar played like that again. It was incredible. But if it's not about being too loud, it's about having crap tone. I honestly believe that's a massive part of it.
there we are. There's a gauntlet, Dan. I just heard it hit the ground.
Ka-joing.
Joe Halliday, Joe, thank you. He says it has to do with how the op amp is implemented in the SRV Tube Screamer mod. Also removes some unnecessary components, although the buffers remain.
Okay.
I've used all the usual excessively extravagant components.
For anyone that doesn't know, Joe from Hello Sailor Effects, he uses the most incredible, like, you can't find these components. I don't know.
Isn't there a transformer in the treble booster or something?
Yeah. But he's got, I mean, I don't even know where you get your pots from.
Yeah.
It's like, it's incredible. So Joe it makes a sport of just, finding, it's like, you try and find these jacks anywhere, sunshine. It's like, you just can't do it. It's really great.
Joe, I can't wait to hear it, man. That's really cool. Yeah. Someone else had said something about it as well, which I've lost. Okay. Ein Jar Jar. This is
very good.
This is wisdom.
Yeah.
And thank you for this. He says, as a sound guy, I can give you a pro tip. Point your amp to the front of house and you'll definitely get the complaints. Point your amp away from front of house and you can blast away more. I absolutely always angle my amps like that.
Yeah.
So if I'm on that side of the stage, you're looking at the stage, my amps are pointing over there.
Right.
Pretty much always.
I like it. I like it.
Also, those I have to say those deflux deflector.
We need to
things,
look at those because, they're fantastic.
I've had some good.
Yep.
Ainsley, the two gigs I did with Ainsley, he let me use one of his, and that was really, really good actually because the amp was lovely and loud and everything I wanted it to be, but
nothing beaming.
You lost the beam. Yeah.
Chris Quinn says,
"Hey Chris,
I never break strings because the amp is flipping loud and I don't need to play like I'm sawing the guitar in half." Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah. Ed Bromiel says it's all about context and why great drummers are invaluable.
Yes, Ed.
Absolutely. I think that caps it off nicely. It's about how you play as an ensemble.
Yeah.
I speak to sound engineers who say they love a bit of sound coming off the stage. They want the sound of the band off the stage that they then support with the front of house mix. Now, obviously, if you're in a stadium, that's not very relevant, but most of us aren't playing stadiums. We're playing pubs and small clubs and little places. So what is heard out front is a mix of the PA mix and what's coming off the stage. I've also done enough gigs where the sound engineer doesn't want anything coming off the stage, and those are the ones where I'm like, I'm never doing this again.
No, yeah.
Someone else can do this. I'll deb this out. I do not want this gig. Because they're soul destroying.
Yes.
Anyway, I shall stop. Otherwise...
What's interesting though, and about the comments that you're hearing come through, these are obviously seasoned musicians, because there's lots of really interesting things coming through. But all the scenarios, as a playing, gigging guitar player, you will go from having massive stages where, I mean, I remember playing a young farmer's gig in a tent, and I could barely tell my AC30 was on.
Oh, right.
It was. I needed at least 100 watts on that stage, and I didn't have it.
Oh, I thought you meant it was so loud. But yes, I was going to say the last Young Farmers gig I did was a breakfast gig. I had a JCM 800 stack and it was cranked.
It was right. Yeah, because they're all hammered by breakfast.
That's about 25 years ago.
Yeah. But then I've done gigs where, I did remember doing a wedding once, and it literally got to a point where I'd turn my amp off and I was going, she's always, can you turn down a bit? I'm like, I'm not even turned on. It's okay.
Yeah. Have you got to the point where the drummer's playing with their hands on the...
Yeah.
So why did you book a band? Just get a DJ. Anyway, Ran's there.
G'day, mate.
Welcome back, Toenailities, says Ran. Hello, mate.
You've been working on that one over Christmas. That's very good.
He says, I woke up today at 3 a.m. unexpectedly. I
woke up today at 3 a.m. So I keep going.
And I used the time to revisit the Brothers EP.
Sorry.
He says it's worth it. Yeah. Brothers Landreth live session. If you haven't watched it, please do. That was a good day. James Blessed. Hello, James. Happy New Year, gentlemen. Happy New Year to you, mate.
Well, thank you, buddy.
An update on my first real amp purchase. I had decided to hold off until I move house in a few years. Thank you for your sage advice on the matter. Here's to a schwanktastic 2023.
Well, you're very welcome. I can't remember what the advice was.
James was thinking about buying a valve amp, and James came to an experience day. All I would say, James, is they might be banned by then. So I would...
they won't be.
Get in a bit quicker.
No, they won't be. No. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
It's amp correctness gone wrong. Christoph Kemper will do some evil deal with Elon Musk.
Nice.
And all new cars will come with a Kemper pre-installed. And the central scrutinizer will make sure that those are the only amps you're allowed to play. This is the central scrutinizer.
We have 1,000 people watching us at the moment, Michael.
And you are here for this. And the band broke up and they will never play again. Yeah.
James Bless says, don't say that. I agree, James. No.
Well, we all know about 1984, don't we? Whit Anderson. Hello, Whit. He says, greetings from Hopewell, New Jersey. I loved the One Guitar and One Amp show. I was empathising with you two during the amp selections. So many times I wish my Marshalls had a reverb tank. Much love and Happy New Year from Woo. Thanks, Woo.
Cheers, Woo.
Yeah, Ainsley actually has got a couple really nice Marshall combos that have reverb in.
Oh, what, from factory?
Wonderful sounding things.
Right.
Yeah, really, really great sounding things. Yeah. God, Marshalls. I love Marshalls. Jan Zahalka. What's the matter?
No, Buckwheater once says, if Elon Musk gets involved with Kemper, he'll sink it. Don't put it down the toilet. Oh, heavens.
Kemper fan, says Ron Leslie. Get in.
Very good.
Well done, mate.
Very good.
Thank you for that. Rule number 1, says Dave Hardy, never do wedding gigs.
I've done some great weddings. I've done some shockers, but I've done some really great... It all depends on... Well, it depends on a lot of things. But if you're in a function band and you're getting...
It's hard not to do weddings.
It's hard not to do weddings also because they pay better than any other gig.
Yeah.
So it's hard. Yeah, it is hard not to do weddings. But they can be really great. But you just need to manage your expectations. You're doing that gig for a very specific purpose. It's not to be godlike and, sound like Angus.
Yeah.
It's to play the songs that they want to get up and grandma and granddad can do that to.
Yes, and that is a different game.
And it's a
isn't
different
it?
thing. It's a different thing
different
than really having serious
I
swang.
was thinking about this morning on my dog walk. I had to go out at 6:15 a.m. this morning, Dan. So I went out in the dark and got back in the dark
Boy.
because I had a little early job to do. And I was thinking about it. We had quite a lot of people got pretty angry about Friday's video, about the volume issue and you guys don't live in the real world and all of that. And I came to a sort of conclusion about it. And my conclusion is I probably haven't done as many gigs as Dan, but I must have done at least 1,000 gigs in my life.
Right.
And I just feel like I've done my hard work because I don't earn my living from doing gigs.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore,
But
it's not a job for me.
For both of us, though, it was a big supplemental income.
Yeah, it was. At one point, it was a very important part of income. But now I don't do it for that. I do it because I enjoy it. And genuinely, I would rather do a gig for nothing, playing with people that I love, playing music that I like,
Absolutely.
than getting paid for one that I don't enjoy. And what was coming through in the comments was, you know, it's like there's almost this resentment of having to go out and play, and the fact that people are having to go out and play, they have to do like the least worst possible job because it's such a hassle.
Yeah.
You know, well, why would you take that to a gig? You should take something that, you know, you can carry and is really easy and there's no hassle. And it's like, what? Do you not enjoy doing this?
Yeah.
Because I don't get that.
You know what?
It's like
though?
I bought a bigger car so I could get a 412 in the boot.
Yeah, yeah. I remember buying my first 412, and I had a Mitsubishi Colt, right? And I went to the music store and said I can only buy it if I can fit it in my little Colt.
Yeah.
And I had to push my driver's seat forward. I had to take out the back seat, right, completely, and squeeze the 4x12 in, push the driver's side seat back as far as it would go, and it was like this.
Yeah.
And I'd get in, and I was over the steering wheel going, yes, it fits! It fits, this is perfect. But, so I've played with that jaded thing. Is so interesting.
Yeah, well, I guess I've definitely been through it where I resent doing the gig, and I'm like, this feels like a chore. At which point you go, okay, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, yeah. The gigs that I used to do, I guess were majority of them were fun. If they weren't fun, they were really well paid. So I always saw the joy and benefit in it. I guess my thing is I've been around enough musicians that were so they'd had big dreams,
right,
that were crushed.
Oh, that's interesting.
And they'd spent their life pursuing this thing that wasn't real.
It wasn't, yeah.
And
okay.
all they had left that they could do was go out and play.
Yeah.
And there was a resentment there from having to do these things.
That's interesting.
You know?
That's interesting.
I tell you what, man, one of the most talented musicians I've ever played with is one of the most jaded people I've ever met in my life. And as, you know, a band I was playing in Sydney, the artist was very well known. And it was musically, you know, wonderful, but far out. Once you get to that point where you're going to take it out on, you know, because I was still young and keen. I was like, oh, this is amazing. And he just couldn't be any meaner or, you know. But yeah, I get it, because if you've had this expectation, you know, of what you wanted to do and it never happens.
Yeah, so you're bringing that to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I definitely went through a period where I resented not being more successful, but that was a long time ago. And now I just love playing.
Yeah, man.
Just happy to play. So yeah, I'm never gonna. You're always gonna go big or go home, aren't you?
Yeah, man.
I do. Anyway,
My best part of the day, 6 o'clock in the morning, get up, have my coffee, sit down with this, headphones on, I'm just there for at least an hour.
Oh, okay.
Every morning.
See,
and
I don't enjoy that at all.
But
You love it.
I love it.
I
I
just
just love it.
I cannot find the motivation to play at home. I don't know what it is.
You don't need to. This is on your doorstep.
Well, I can't find the motivation to play in here either. There's got to be a project. There has to be a gig or a recording or something. Otherwise, I just don't have the motivation. Don't have the discipline. It's really.
I'll tell you what I'm finding really hard to get motivated for is to finish off my EP. I'm finding that really challenging. I did some. I replaced some guitars the other day. But yeah. Anyway.
David Tompkins says, "Did Mick ever get on the cover of a guitar magazine?" No, but I published hundreds, David. Yeah. They did one for me when I left, but no, never actually been on one. But designed, subbed, wrote cover lines for, sent to press, hundreds and hundreds. So, yeah. God, guitar magazine covers. Hi guys, greetings from Prague, says Jan Zahalka. Hello, Jan.
Where Prague's in
Czechoslovakia.
Right.
Sorry, the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
He says, I was just wondering, why no P90s for the One Guitar Challenge? It's the most versatile pickup after all. What's your take?
This is my take, baby.
Yeah, that is a really fabulous sounding guitar. But funnily enough, wedding gigs, one of the last wedding gigs I did, the other guitar player was Robbie McIntosh. And he turned up with one of those.
With it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
One pickup to cover like the widest set list you can imagine, and proceeded to do it with aplomb, as you can imagine.
Far out, man.
Yeah, absolutely, Jan. Completely brilliant. Dan and I are first choice Fender players, really.
Yeah.
So Dan will always pick a telly. I'll 9 times out of 10 pick a Strat, but for this one I went with humbuckers. We both love P90s. We've both got a couple of P90 guitars. And you're right, that thing, volume and tone rolled down into a cranked amp, sounds like an acoustic guitar. It's flipping amazing.
It is incredible.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, we do love them very much.
Do love them.
Yeah.
I've got a casino back there, a Chinese casino, Chinese casino, and
Place your bets.
a very run of the mill, inexpensive guitar. Put a lot of P90s in it, and I love playing that guitar.
Yeah, killer.
I happily play that guitar. So yes, we are fans of the P90, but I think first choice is always going to be Fender style single coils, probably.
Ah, Mr. Timothy Lurch is on. G'day, mate.
Hello, Tim.
He says, Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New
Thanks
Year.
for the great show and this cool community. All the best in 2023. Oh, thank you, mate.
I got one of your TrueFire courses, Tim.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's really good.
Oh, it's amazing.
I mean, obviously it's good. Obviously the Tim part of it is good, but the infrastructure and the UI is excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a Pat Martino TrueFire course, which is really great. I mean, it's still really hard to understand what Pat's going on about, but it was really good.
No, it's very nice. I'm slowly doing bits and bobs as the inspiration strikes. Harrison Vaughan, in regards to last week's video, one of the best gigging tones I've ever had. A 65 deluxe reverb and an AC15 running together. Not sure the sound engineer was impressed. Yeah.
I'm sure he was well impressed with your gigantic tone.
Yeah. Hope you're well, Harrison. Matt McGrath, hello Matt. He says, welcome back, Legends. I picked up a PV Audition 20. Was wondering your thoughts on these old PVs. Everyone went crazy when Josh Homme mentioned he used the Decade, so I had to try it out. I don't know about the Audition 20.
So, there's a period where PV were making, valve guitar amps. Of course they were, but didn't Leonard Skinner, weren't they using those old PV amps for a while?
Okay, so the Audition is not a valve guitar amp. I don't think. I think it's a solid state. Is it? Don't know. I think it is. And of course, everyone talks about the Bandit down the years, which has been widely used by everyone. You might be thinking of they did do a bunch of valve amps. One was the Deuce.
Quick story about
if it's the Elliott Randall, we've heard it a million times.
I know, but I love that story.
Sorry. So they did do lots of valve amps. People did lots of valve amps. But I'm pretty sure the Audition 20 is... please tell me it's a transistor amp. Someone's going to say, aren't they?
Yes, that is.
Someone's going to say. Anyway, don't have a lot of first-hand experience of them. I did on Doyle Bramwell's latest last record, not the latest record, the last one, Rich Man. No, on the latest record called Shades. There's a track on there. He goes and plays with some of his mates, and I said to him, "What is the sound on that guitar? On that track? It's flipping awesome." He says it's a PV Rage 158 because that's all they had, and it sounds completely amazing. So that's it, isn't it? You know, for all this chat about crazy boutique gear and amazing pedals and guitars, sometimes run what you brung, play it with heart.
Killer.
No downside.
There was a very well-known Aussie band. They go on stage and they have their Marshalls and everything set up, and out the back was an old suitcase. What do you call those old?
Silvertone or something?
No. It was just literally a suitcase.
Oh, an actual suitcase.
An actual suitcase. And there was a mains power in one side, and there was a microphone cable that goes in the other. And in there was a little solid state thing cranked, the mic in the perfect position, and all shut up in this old suitcase. And that was his sound all night. It's great.
Skinnerd, apparently, says Chris Quinn, PV Mace amps, 160 watts tube power.
There you go.
Solid state front end for that sound.
There you go.
Nice. Yes.
Cowbell Studios, I'm playing through a PV Classic 50 right now. The PV Classic amps are great.
Yeah. Very extremely popular, extremely versatile, much loved for good reason.
Yeah.
Rick Van Dyne, Happy New Year from Chicago, gents. Happy New Year, Rick. He says, Mick, the TS1 sounded killer. Have you considered an in-depth vlog for proper comparison between the TS1 and CSR TPS style? Or maybe you mean classic reverb. CRS, yeah, sorry. My other two wrong.
My other two wrong.
I know, what a ridiculous thing to say.
That's beautiful.
Yes, I will do that, or we will do that, or I will do that. They're very, very different.
I think
so funny. They're like brothers.
Yeah.
They are definitely brothers, but they are very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny, I definitely prefer the TS1 for a whole bunch of things, and I prefer the CRS for a whole bunch of other things. So they're magic amps. They are magic amps.
Yeah. I must say that sound with the Deluxe and the TS1, that's just the sound of ages. Really extraordinary.
Yeah, it's a big tone. A lot of people in the comments just preferred the Deluxe reverb on its own, and I get that because it's a fab noise, and I think maybe what we get to experience here in the room is, as we discussed many times, more than just the recorded audio. It's the whole auditory and physical experience of being in the room with that kind of volume, and it is a bone-shaking thing.
It's very good.
It's a moving thing. But yes, Rick, I will do that. I'm trying to think of a way of doing it that is useful and interesting and not too indulgent, but actually answers the question, because I know loads of people who want to buy a 2-Rock have got that exact question. Should it be that or the Bloomfield or the... I can't compare them all because we don't have them all, but...
Did 2-Rock do an EL84 amp?
Yeah, they do the... Oh, maybe that's 6v6 actually. I was thinking of the Burnside, that might be 6v6. I think that's 6v6 actually. Come on, come on. Where's the information? Where's the information? I think it's 6v6 then.
Right.
So no, I don't think they do an 84 amp. Oh, Burnside is actually 6L6s.
Wow.
Yeah, like a little tweed job.
Oh.
It's great. Scott McKeon's got one. Sounds flipping amazing. Anyway, Justin Baylog. Hey, Justin.
Hey,
Good to hear
Justin.
from you. He said, I'm excited for 2023 with the TPS family. Love you guys. We're excited too.
Yes. It's going to be a really great year.
We're going to try a thing or two in 2023, we think. Dan Sokolowski. Hello, Dan. He says, Mick, you inspired me. I bought a Santa leg hat similar to yours, leg end hat, and I won $50 in a Christmas hat competition at work.
See, it's already paying for itself. Love it.
Looking forward to TPS 2023. Wherever you work, if they have a Christmas hat competition, that's the kind of place I'd like to work.
Yeah, I like that.
And who is the judge and on what criteria?
Yeah.
Good on you, Dan. Hope you spent the $50 on something completely unnecessary. PSD Mikey 169. PSD Mikey 169. New pedal day. Automatone Mark II. The thing is incredible. Perfect for my escalation of force for gain ideas. Also, I can use the banks for my different guitars, Tele, Strat and Les Paul. Now to save for a G3 Atom.
Ah, awesome. The Automatone Mark II, when we first heard it, we were at NAMM, and we're like, this thing sounds remarkably good. Let's reserve judgment until we get it back in, at home base. And we got it in here, and we loved the functionality so much, but it could have come in a biscuit tin with, whatever, sonically.
Yeah.
Flippin' extraordinary.
It is extraordinary. Sits in an interesting... The reason it's not on my board is because sonically for me, it sits between overdrive pedal and preamp.
Right.
So no matter what overdrive pedal you're talking about, it seems to have more clarity, more depth, more definition, more harmonic range. It just sounds bigger than most overdrive pedals that I could mention. Which is one thing I really like about full-on valve preamps running into a power amp. The Automatone sits somewhere between for me. And I haven't quite figured out the ideal rig that it would sit in.
It's that thing.
But every time we use it, we're like, oh my God, this thing sounds amazing.
The big episode that we did with it was like, can the Automatone cop these tones? Which it did.
Yes.
It's for that thing where you need all that flexibility without compromising on the core tone of the thing.
Yeah.
Because I find so much time if you're doing that, programmable analog overdrive thing, sometimes they're great, sometimes it's, there's a compromise there. For me, the Automatone can do that stuff and impart enough of its own character, not to try to be something else, like the fuzz in it. I absolutely love the fuzz in that thing.
What clinches it for me, though, is I think there are other pedals that can do that well. Kernan Ridge is a good example.
Yeah.
There was one that came out, I think it was called the Analog Drive, from a Swedish company or a Scandinavian company ages ago. That, too, sounded spectacular.
Right.
What clinches it for the Automatone for me is it's always WYSIWYG.
Yeah.
Because what I can't do with a Kernan Ridge is if I look down and those knobs are not representing what the sound is, I can't change it to something quickly. Yeah. And
exactly.
With the Automatone, you just grab one of those sliders, do what you want to do, 3 seconds, it's where you want it to be. And my brain works in that way. It has to be WYSIWYG, otherwise I can't.
Yeah, totally.
Does not compute.
Totes.
Yeah. Enjoy that, PSD Mikey. It's endless fun. Jim Goulden. Hello, Jim.
Hello, Jim.
Happy New Year, gents. Hope you guys are well. Have a drink on me. Looking forward to another year of TPS.
Thank you, bud.
We will do that, Jim. Thank you. Bartlett O'Shea. Hello, Bartlett. He says, no question, gents. Just to thank you, as I've learned so much from this channel. Looking forward to continuing the journey with the whole TPS family in 2023. Rock on.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you, Bartlett. That's very
Appreciate
kind
that.
of you to say. Carl Lider, or Lidder. I believe BV has forwarded your question. Thank you, BV.
James Nernhouse says it was the Electron analog drive.
Thank you.
Yes.
It was. They discontinued it, I think, because I don't know, just didn't spark the imagination for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think that company they did mainly synth stuff, but there was also some issues when they launched it. There were some issues with the MIDI from memory,
Right.
and they had trouble. I think they got sorted out eventually, but yeah, it was great. But remember the old?
Needless to say, I never tried the MIDI.
Yeah, the old TC
Nova Drive.
Nova Drive. I mean, that was an programmable analog overdrive, and that thing sounded great. There's, it's not a new idea having programmable pots that simply change resistor values. It works great.
So Carl Lido, sorry Carl, we don't seem to have a question from you. If one comes in, we will do it. Failing that, we'll do it next week. Edward Johns, hello Edward. He says, hi Bunions. Any chance of a collab show? You and Amptech Psionic Audio nerding out on vintage components. Also, how about a rig for jazz show?
A rig for jazz.
Yeah, Psionic would be good. That's Pete, isn't it? I think his name is, maybe. Rig for jazz? Was that like Cardigan?
Well,
don't have a shower for a week. Roll up tone off guitar.
There you go.
Make your clothes smell of broken biscuits. Never play same note twice.
So, jazz is like,
I'm joking,
it's so
of course.
broad. It's so incredibly broad. It depends on what sort of jazz you're talking about. If you get a nice arch top, and I remember when I was learning, it was the Roland Cube. Every jazz guitar player had a Roland Cube, and they just sounded flipping magic.
Yeah. I suppose that was the affordable alternative to the polytone. Or the...
Well, it was what we had in Australia.
Yeah.
But they sounded amazing.
Yeah.
But that's, the old grey cubes. There's the new smaller compact ones, but the old grey ones just sounded awesome.
Yeah, it's like saying blues, isn't it? What is blues? Is blues Muddy Waters, or is it SRV, or is it Eric Gales? You know, vastly different sounds, and it's the same with jazz. My current Apple playlist is a playlist inspired by Wayne Krantz.
Right.
And that goes through, well, Wayne Krantz, there's a bit of Pat Metheny in there, there's John Schofield, there's a whole bunch of people, and their tones couldn't be further apart.
I'm thinking of someone.
I tell you what I do like, Tim, if you're still on, is your Charlie Christian pickup in the neck of your telly. I'm trying to persuade Dan to do that to Butters.
Yeah.
That sounds mega.
Yeah.
I mean, you're playing it, so obviously it sounds mega. But
yeah. See, there's that.
There is that. But I like the idea of that Charlie Christian neck pickup thing.
Yeah.
I think Jason Loller's a fan of that, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It might even be a Loller pickup. I don't know.
Yeah, but the jazz thing is really interesting. When you talk about when you go from jazz into fusion, then it's wide open. Anything goes. But traditional jazz, I'm just trying to think what Pat's main thing was. His main amp. He had a bunch of different guitars through his career. But the Polytone's a big, very famous jazz amp.
Oh, apparently Psionic Audio is a guy called Lyle, not Pete.
Okay.
So
actually, I did reach out to Kurt Rosenwinkel last year, and he said next time he's in the country, he's going to come on the show.
That'd be cool.
So that'd be really great.
Depressing, but cool.
Yeah, he's astonishing. The first time I heard of Kurt, there was a track on the Tube that he'd written called Dr. Zhivago, and his playing it is just extraordinary. So yeah, that would be wonderful to have him on.
Todd Roy says, Mick, I know you said your guitar's sated at the moment, but I think you need a vintage Les Paul Junior to counter Dan's. Todd, I've got a lovely Collings Junior, which is a fabulous sounding guitar. That does my Junior job. I haven't played it much of late, actually, but it's a great guitar.
I mean, yeah. You've had a lot of lovely things of late.
Yeah.
To keep you busy.
Yeah. I've got enough guitars. I do. SG is I said to Catherine, I'm going to get an SG this year, and that tops it out.
Yeah.
For the foreseeable. I don't want anything apart from that.
The gentleman that used to help out in the shop with that SG that he brought in.
Yes.
With the mini humbuckers in it?
Malcolm, yeah.
Malcolm. I do love that guitar. That's a really, really great sounding 70s.
Yeah, it sounded amazing. The neck was too small for me.
Right.
And I think if I was going to go for one, I want like a 64 spec. So the bigger neck.
Yeah.
But that's still with the half pick guard and that very, classic vintage spec.
Right.
Preferably in Relic Pelham Blue, but unfortunately they are insane money.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. Right. All the top players have some kind of carpet. Some kind of carpet, says Colin Diamond.
That's where we've gone wrong.
Do I need a vintage Persian carpet, or will a rug from IKEA suffice? Thank you for your pedal passion. You do need a proper Persian rug. That's what all the dudes have.
Yeah, it's what we have. Without it,
no,
we wouldn't be us.
Ours is a cheapo nylon thing that Rosie eats her bones on.
What, the Persian ones in storage?
They're a lot of money, man.
They're crazy.
They're a lot of money. Yeah, but I bet if you asked what rugs John Mayer has, they will be not cheap.
No. Is he shoed when he plays?
I've always seen him wearing shoes.
Okay,
yeah, not
right.
shoeless.
Because there are a lot of artists who have their own rugs who go out in bare feet.
They were shoeless.
Yeah.
Who did we have on that was shoeless? Stephen Wilson. Yeah. I'm not a fan of shoelessness in general, actually. Even in the sea, I like a shoe.
You like a shoe in the sea?
Yeah. I don't know what you're stepping on, you see. Could be anything.
It could be anything.
Couldn't it?
Yeah.
Literally anything in the sea.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
Yes, you do need a decent Persian carpet, Colin. Maybe there's some sort of technical physics here to do with woven wool and nasty nylon and getting electric shocked.
It's Victoria G says, if you get a guitar, the rug finds its way to you eventually.
Oh, there we are.
I got my guitar and inherited a mid-century Persian rug a few months later. There you go.
There you go. I do look at them every now and again, but they're just too expensive.
Right.
Yeah. You beauties, says Adam Loris. Nice to have you back, playing with some TPS wet dry wet rig and getting some 50 hertz hum out of the outputs of my G3 and my humdinger with all pedals off. How do I start hunting down the culprit?
Process of elimination. You've got to go through output 1 first into your amp and then turn that on. Check the power supply, check that it's not in the vicinity of stuff that might be picking up hum. So take that off the board to start with and just power up G3, output 1 into one amplifier, leave everything else off, and then start adding things until you find it.
Yeah. It's going to be the third amp, but you said you've got a humdinger.
If you've got the humdinger in the loop and you're going from the isolated output, then everything is isolated. But what you've got to be careful of, and I've seen people do this with their multi-channel amps, and they go to a lot of effort getting everything isolated, but then when I see their boards, everything is so jam-packed, they've got the outputs of the isolated thing touching each other, creating earth loops. If you just go back to basics, start with just the output 1, which is your earth, start there, get the power supply off the board, and then you'll find it.
Modern Vintage says, video soon on the 2 Rock Joey Landreth amp. maybe Joey's been threatening that his European one will live here, which would be pretty sexy.
Wow, lovely.
Yeah, then we can be 3-rock.
It's I like that.
Yeah.
Nice. Is it 2 different sorts of tremolo in it?
Yeah, bias and harmonic
Awesome.
and reverb.
Oh man, that's so good.
They've had to put it in that silver string Singer Sterling.
Is it a head?
Yeah, but they've had to put it in the big box because obviously there must be about 58 million tubes in there with with all that going on. Oh man, sounded amazing in the video. El Rondo, does the red material affect tone? Damn tootin' it does. Of course it does.
Of course it does.
Everything affects everything. Right, Michael Clark keeps asking, what version is my Argo? I think it's the first one, Michael. It must be pretty near the first one because it had the first section of graphics, and it's on a through-hole board. So I'm pretty sure it's one of the first ones.
Is that from Jason and the Argo Noughts?
I don't know. I guess so. It's Mythos pedals, so that would seem about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of my favourite XTC songs. It's so cool.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Cam Norre, or Nor, wants to know, is there a Jazz Master in your collection and thoughts on the thicker tone? Yes, there is a Jazz Master in our collection. I can't play it. I just can't play it. It's good. It's a flipping good guitar. It's a Fender Classic Series lacquer, so it's lovely and lightweight. It's a lacquer finish. I think the pickups are kind of so-so. One day I'll get around to putting some Lollas or something in it, but I like the way it sounds. In general,
This annoys me.
Yeah, I know. Insert here. You need this vibrato. You need this and all the upgrades that all the Jazz Master people know about. My issue with it is the attack and the envelope of the note is so different from a Strat.
Yeah, right.
It's almost like the envelope of the note is shifted towards the beginning, so it doesn't have anything like the sustain the Strat's got.
Okay.
But it's got much more initial attack.
Oh wow. Okay. Interesting.
And I just haven't learned how to get a noise out of it, and that's just the way it is with guitars, which is a shame because I blooming love it.
Yeah.
But I can't get a noise out of it that I really love, is the truth of the matter. Probably wouldn't take that long, if you played it a lot. Landau's got one, plays it all the time, sounds amazing.
Again.
But yeah, I can't get a note out of it. It's weird. Especially with these flipping flat wounds on.
Yeah, right. Well, the flat wounds on the Jag have made a massive difference.
Yeah, you like them, don't you?
I really do. That
You
sounds
like
great.
it so much you never play that guitar.
Yeah.
It's
how do you play this?
Thoughts on the thicker tone, like the mud circuit. There are loads of people who get great noises out of it and know how to use it. For me, I would never use it because I like treble. Yeah, but people do like it. They like it with fuzzes. They like it with all kinds of effects. And people who are really into those guitars make them sound utterly amazing.
Yep.
It's not the guitar's fault. It's mine. I don't get it.
Okay.
Because I haven't spent enough time with it.
There you go.
Bit like Dan with rubber bridge guitars.
No.
Dan thinks rubber bridge guitars are sillier than an ashtray on a motorcycle.
Is that... There was that thing that we did with Mary Spender in Germany, and they had that ukulele bass with the rubber strings.
Oh, that's different. That's a different thing.
Right.
Yeah, they were really cool, those. But I've been watching loads of Madison Cunningham videos, and she's there playing a rubber bridge guitar, and it sounds...
Okay.
Ace. I like it. Anyway. I was a 12 Days of Tonemas winner. Says Brett
Awesome.
Tozzy or Totsy or Tozy.
Oh, congratulations, mate. That's
Nice one,
great.
Brett. It made my holiday. I think I wrote a card out for you, actually. Made my holiday. Thank you. Good. Well, hopefully you'll get your gift fairly soon. I think they were all sent out either today or yesterday. Attenuators. Should I get the 2 notes capped to X or do I splurge for the Tone King Iron Man? Cheers.
Depends what you want to do with it.
Exactly that.
The 2 notes capped to X is really good if you want to take line outs and do that stuff and cab sims and, you know, I think they work really well in that environment. For an out and out, just straight power amp attenuator, it's really hard to go past the Tone King.
I think it is. I think it is.
It's the most natural sounding one. It's really tricky, right? Because how much of a percentage would you say that the speaker is to the tone of the amplifier?
Oh, that's a question. Many percent.
Many percent, right?
Yeah.
So no matter how good the attenuator
More than
is,
this, less than that.
yeah, no matter how good the attenuator is, what you're not getting is the way that the output of the power amp hits the speakers. So, you know, it is always going to be compromised. Like for me, ISO cab, where you can actually turn the amp up and put a mic on it. So anyone that saw the, someone had just commented about the Phil Manzanera video, and you know they need to have a silent stage, so he's got his ISO cab and it does all that without the need for an attenuator. However, the Iron Man attenuator does sound flipping magic.
There's a few things about the Iron Man I specifically like. One is it has a foot switchable function, so you can use it as a boost, well, like an underboost as it were. It has switchable presence options, so that, because sometimes what happens when you just use a resistive load, it's not a resistive load attenuator, it is a proper reactive job, not just a straight resistive load. But sometimes when you use attenuators, you lose all the sparkle and all the fun, and adding a bit of that presence back in can be great. And it has a particular selection of attenuation levels that are wide enough to get the spot you want. So on some, there's just one knob. Are you laughing or are you?
I'm laughing. Sorry, there's a comment that's just come in that I'll read you.
Okay.
It'll make your eyes water.
And like, let's say it's -6 and -10. Well, -6 isn't enough and -10 is too much. On the Iron Man, you've got loads of little in-betweenies, thanks to a couple of other functions that it has, and I'm a big fan of it. Problem with the Captor X, one problem with the Captor X is, if you do take another line out to do speaker modeled stuff, IRs, you get latency. So it's out of phase with what's coming out your cab. And that is a massive problem if you want to use the IRs along with what's coming out of the cab itself. If you only want to use a direct tone, that's fine. But together the two things are out. So we had it with Joey Landrus' rig where we had to take it out of the rig because it was causing a phase problem doing the wet dry.
It was causing a phase problem between, he had the amps in a line with him. If you're taking a line out and going into the PA and they're putting a bit of spread, then that's a bit different because you've already got, you know, but with it didn't work
didn't work as a wet dry splitter.
Exactly.
Yeah, because of the latency.
I've got to read you this.
Okay.
Joe Peasy for Sheezy says, I need to thank you guys for Friday. I had my vasectomy and I listened to the show during the procedure.
Nice.
I almost passed out before I put the show on. Thanks for helping me through, boys.
Good on you, Joe. I've never had it myself. I've got a couple of mates who've had it, and the first needle in the first testicle apparently is a thing to truly to behold.
My brother had it. I said, what's it like? He said, it's like being kicked in the nuts all the time.
Angel Vox 1 on the subject of vasectomies. No, Angel Vox 1 says, hi Mick and Dan, why are treble boosters so underrated? Shouldn't they be more popular? The problem with treble boosters is they're called treble boosters.
Yeah.
They should be called four
Yeah, Lord Drive.
Yeah.
They should be called Herculean Punch Fist or something. You know, they're called Treble Booster.
The problem is the name, because they
Yeah.
don't boost treble, they boost mid-range, really.
Yeah, yeah.
But they do cut a lot of bass, which is another problem. Can be another problem. Basil Tiffany says, what is a vastectomy? It's good. Hi and a very happy new year, says Philip Harris. Hello, Philip.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Thanks for all the content, knowledge, wit.
Woo.
Yeah, I think you must be watching another show, mate. Wit, entertainment, and very lovely sounds. Thank you, Philip. That's very
Thank you, buddy.
kind of you to say. David Rogel, any suggestions for a dead simple one-to-one guitar isolation box in roughly pedal size? Bonus points for mini pedal size and format. Great, thanks for the videos. NPD forever. One-to-one guitar isolation box. What does that mean?
I don't know, but I'm assuming it's just there's no attenuation. It's output into the input of the isolation box, and then that's isolated, which is what an isolation box does.
For what purpose? To get rid of noise?
Well, just keep it quiet.
Keep what quiet?
The guitar sound.
So you're thinking of a speaker box?
An isolation cab.
No, he's saying one-to-one guitar isolation box, roughly pedal size.
Oh.
Do you mean electrical isolation? In which case, you need a humdinger.
Oh, sorry.
If I understand what you're talking about, is that what you're talking about? I haven't got one here. I've only got an old one.
No, I've got a new one in the car.
Yeah, maybe jump in the main comments, David, and explain what you mean, because we don't quite understand what you're asking for. So, yes, please jump in the main comments and let us know, and we can give you a better answer. Yeah.
How are we looking?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, it's not even nearly time yet, Dan. What are you talking about?
I'm just
You getting hungry?
A little bit.
Yeah, it might be. I think we're having ramen for dinner tonight.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely. With an egg?
You can have an egg if you
I'll
want
have
an
an
egg.
egg in my ramen.
I found a great new way to poach an egg.
Have you?
It was on Instagram.
Right.
Small dish,
Right.
egg,
In the dish.
enough water to cover the egg,
Right.
44 seconds in an 800 watt microwave.
Right.
Perfect poached egg.
Okay.
I didn't believe it.
Until you tried it. Now?
Now I'm a believer. And I don't believe much, Dan.
No? All right. I'm happy to try that and put it in my ramen.
I've always been a bit microwave averse, truth be told.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, my mum used to do like fish and everything in the microwave, and it was like eating blanched rubber. And I was like, that's
chewy.
really nice, Mum.
No, because I am quite a fan of poached eggs,
Okay.
and I'm quite good at cooking poached eggs in the traditional manner.
Right. Oh, Chris, sorry.
I'm not keen on any of your normal accoutrements, so pouch pockets.
No, but see,
I don't
either
want
am
any
I.
of
I get the pan,
Yeah.
right? The water, a little bit of vinegar,
Mm.
spin it, stir the really quick, get a whirlpool going,
Yeah.
crack the egg into the whirlpool, and it keeps it all in together.
Well, if you use a little dash of vinegar, you don't need to do the whirlpool thing. The vinegar makes the egg go like that. It actually makes that noise if you listen carefully. Yeah.
Like the start of a vasectomy.
Would a poached egg work on ramen, or has it got to be a boiled egg?
I'm happy to try. I'll try both.
Yeah.
And we'll give,
I'm
there's
into
points. Yeah, I'm into this as well.
In a big way.
Yeah.
This is good.
What else is in the ramen?
We'll have the broth, obviously.
Yes.
We've got some carrots.
Yes.
We've got pak choy. There'll be some sliced
Get to the meat.
radish. Oh, well, I've got a little bit of beef for us.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
All right. Because I'm very happy with all the vegetables, and that's great.
Obviously, Catherine doesn't have any meat.
I
So
understand.
the meat will be an additional item for us.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I've always had vegetarian options at my barbecues as well. You can get out.
Let's see if David's come in with any more options. Dustin Thiessen says, I've lived the last 12 years of my life without a microwave. I think I could too. I'm just not... What's the egg room temperature, says Reeves? Always. You can't keep eggs in the fridge. Marcus, what the hell?
Oh, really?
Fridge is no place for an egg.
Michael Gad Guitar says, microwaves are digital modelling food.
They totally are. I completely agree. I totally agree. I'm not into microwaves. Yeah. Joel Thorpe says, is it wrong to have 6 overdrive pedals on the board?
No.
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 Is he talking about an isolation transformer, says Weth Smithiel.
We think so.
Yeah, we think so, but we haven't had... Microwaves for popcorn and melting butter, that's it. Okay, Joe, Alba, everyone, I want you to try this. If you like poached eggs, small dish, egg in the dish.
How small? Like...
Well, the shape you want your egg to come out.
Okay. Oh, okay. Right. That's small.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right.
Just cover it with water, 44 seconds. Let me know how you get on.
Okay.
Obviously, depending on the strength of your microwave, could be as little as 40, could be as much as 55.
Are we talking water over the yolk?
Well, if the dish is kind of shaped like that, so the egg sits in the bottom of it,
Yeah.
the water will cover the whole egg.
Okay.
Just.
How much over the yolk?
Well,
A centimetre?
I didn't measure it.
Okay. But
Not
a
too
little
much.
bit. Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
Cold water, though.
Yeah, I didn't measure the temperature of the water.
Okay. But it was out of the tap. You didn't boil the water first.
Straight
or
out of the
anything?
tap.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah.
These details are important.
Noodles, topping and seasoning. Tear and broth, says Cameron. Yeah, completely agree. Something about egg processing or lack thereof in the US requires eggs to be kept in the fridge. I'm not going to say what I want to say. I'm just not going to say.
I have to. Sorry. Michael Gagatar says, no, I didn't say that. Read the microwaves in digital modelling. Merely appreciated. Credit to the cleverer KJ Photo. Very good. Very good.
Ryan Stoppler says, Mick, how are you getting on with the SE Silver Sky? As someone with amazing strats, it would be cool to know your opinion on something us mortals can afford. I like it a lot, Ryan. I really like it a lot. It's more forthright sounding than my strats. This is going to sound like a pejorative assessment, but it's not. It's more 2D.
Oh, interesting.
Doesn't have the depth and the kind of that the nicer strats have, but it does have punch. It cuts through a mix really well. It plays fantastically in tune, and I think it sounds great. I am going to do a video on Strat vibratos, and I'm going to use the Silver Sky as a good example of a 2-point vibrato. That's its Achilles heel for me, because at the moment it's set decked, so I can do everything I want to do. The minute you float it, I've got a feeling it's going to be too boingy, for want of a better word. So you get the warble. However, I have been listening to a lot of Wayne Krantz of late,
right?
Who I think for most of the stuff I'm listening to is probably playing his Tyler. He's got such an interesting sound. Sounds really almost DI'd.
Oh, okay.
A lot of his tones, I'll play some on the way home.
Right.
A lot of it sounds almost DI'd.
Interesting.
And it's given me a new perspective on why a lot of the things people have said to me about strats over the years has come into focus a little bit, listening to more Scotty Henderson and Wayne Krantz.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And those guys. I can't say I'm a huge fan and it's not a tone I would go after, but I can see why people do go after it, and I can see why people love it.
Right.
And it's a different take, and the 2-point bridge is a massive part of it, I think.
Oh, wow.
I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure Scotty Henderson uses a 2-point bridge, but Krantz definitely did and does and whatever. And you can hear it anyway. probably to... Rich Jones says farm eggs don't need to be refrigerated. Store ones do because they wash them and that removes the enzymes from the shell. Oh, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. Really interesting. PRS SEDGT should hit the streets tomorrow, says Eagle Ray Rob. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that too.
Yeah.
Can you put... Paul Reed Smith didn't... He's sat there playing my DGT for that whole video and he didn't even tell us that guitar was coming.
No.
I'm a bit annoyed by that. Like, I feel personally hurt.
Yeah, because of the closeness.
Yeah, because, you know...
I get it.
We were basically spooning by the end of the video.
We were.
Yeah.
I still feel the warmth.
We were talking about hotel rooms and all kinds of things.
And it's lovely.
And...
The betrayal.
No information.
Yeah.
Every note counts. Every note counts. It says, on an island...
Except for that one. And that one.
Would you catch a fish using its bones for nut and frets of a guitar you fashion out of a palm tree and then use thread for guitar strings? Or would you just settle for coconut bongos? Asking for smoke signal. Fire smoke signal. I think the depth of your imagination, every note counts, is beyond anything Dan and I can countenance.
Yeah. First of all, you need to form some sort of rudimentary lathe. Yeah. Coconut bongos all the way for me.
Yeah. Elliot Green. Hello, Elliot. Hope you're doing okay, mate. He says, Happy New Year. I got married.
Oh, congratulations,
No
mate.
way, man. Congratulations. Elliot came on a experience day. Please tell me your wife's called Teresa. That would be awesome. Teresa Green. And I got a PRS SH special inspired by playing Chris's PRS at the experience day at the end of 2022. Look forward to all the great content you put out in 23.
Thank you, mate.
Congrats, man.
Yeah.
Congrats.
It's excellent.
Wonderful. Keith from 5 Volt World is in the chat.
It is indeed.
Hey, Keith. Hope you're doing well, man. Peter Romano. Hello, Peter. He says, Gents, Happy New Year. Dan, did you keep your Cornish treble booster? I rewatched that episode over the break and was curious if you've ever compared it to your others.
Check it out. Beautiful thing.
It wouldn't be a lie to say that you prefer the Joe Halliday one, Hello Sailor.
I just think that is the most extraordinary sounding.
I think you might prefer the Mythos Cestus as well.
The looking forward to that. The Dirty Mac as well. I think it's great. But
is it the worst treble booster you've ever heard?
What's that?
The Cornish.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. I think, like, specifically into a cranked AC30
for the Brian May sound.
For the Brian May sound, incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's quiet, and you know, yeah,
pedalboard friendly.
Yeah, all that stuff.
And it says Pete Cornish on it. Justin Piska has a question. Justin says, a truly happy new year to you, Legends.
Oh, thank you, mate.
And to you, Justin. He says, my resolution to super chat for the first time. So grateful for TPS and your influence on my guitar journey. Keep it up, gents. Love from Reading.
Oh, how lovely.
California.
Still on all the names. It's all right.
There is a reason for that. Oh, this is America. What shall we call this? Reading? Okay.
New England.
Yes. It's like England, but it's newer. Let's call this New York.
Yes. This looks a bit like the South of Wales. Let's call it New South Wales. Is the Queen coming? Well, this is her land. We shall call it Queensland.
Yeah. God. Anyway. Thanks, Justin. Al Gorham. Hey, Al.
G'day, mate.
He says, right, this time properly saying hello. Happy New Year, lads. I like the lighting. Far more naturalistic in it, he
Nick
says.
has pulled off an absolute blinder with the lighting. You've
Well,
done a great job.
we're changing a couple of things. And
Thank you for including me in that, but no.
No.
I had nothing to do with it.
As always, it's more error than trial, but we'll get there in the end. I did like that amp and guitar episode, says Al. Damn you, Mick. I've ordered a 65 now. By far, the biggest question was why the hell didn't you choose the Tone King Imperial Mark II? And I think that's a very fair question, and I think it would have been a fabulous job.
Yep.
There's a lot of things it does that I vastly prefer to the 65 Deluxe Reverb, and a couple of things that I definitely don't prefer. I chose the 65 Deluxe because I wanted to do the single channel thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to make the point that you can do it with a single channel almost, volume notwithstanding. And I just don't think, I think there's a lot of people out there who've never heard a Deluxe Reverb cranked.
Yeah.
And I think that is a crying shame.
Yeah, indeed.
Because they get written off as this kind of plinky plonky clean amp, but there are a few things that I would prefer to that.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I was listening to the Eric Johnson Austin City Limits thing.
Does he play Manhattan on that?
Oh, I don't know. But he's got those deluxes, and his clean sound is it's just astonishing. However, there are moments when he gets a bit excited and he digs in a bit and they go,
oh really?
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
And so it's like, yeah, they're on that point and the volume's down a little bit and he just gets it angelic. But you know, you can see when he's doing his thing and goes back to the clean sound and he's just hitting it a little bit harder and they just cave in.
Oh,
Really
I shall have
interesting.
to re-listen. David Burke. Hey, David. Hope you're doing well,
G'day,
mate.
mate.
He says, I got COVID on Boxing Day. Oh, no, mate. And I still have it. Symptoms okay, just worried due to dodgy immune system. Yes, so David is immunosuppressed. And the first time he left the flipping house was to come and see us on an experience day. He says, to cheer me up, though, I bought a 2016 Frost Blue ES345. ES345.
Nice.
And I pre-ordered a G3.
Oh, well done, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, David. Well, get well, mate. I hope you're dealing with that okay. Yeah, hope you get past that soon. And congrats on the ES345. I still covet your SG, by the way, so let's get that out of the way.
Apparently, Austin City Limits was 10 years before Manhattan was written.
Oh, so not that
Not
then.
Manhattan.
No.
Very loose version of Manhattan. Maybe.
Yeah. It's more Lower East Side by that point. Scott Pickett. He says, Happy New Year from Boone, North Carolina, says Scott Pickett. Thanks for all the rabbit holes you've sent me down. Sorry about that. Michael Lockyer. Hello, Michael. He says, loving the new shorts you're doing. Keep them up.
Yes.
Yeah, we're doing shorts because you have to do them for YouTube's blessed algorithm.
Very good.
Yeah. Well,
algorithm.
Look, algorithm. Look, algorithm.
It's very good.
Yeah, or indeed algorithm. But actually, we've decided that I think they can be pretty useful, and it's been a great. We've done some that are just clips from shows, but we've also done a couple that are much more considered, and I do think it's a really great format. Certainly teaches you a thing or two about being concise.
Yes.
So we'll keep doing those. Let us know if there's things you want to see covered, and we'll do our best.
In the last few minutes of the show, while we've still got everyone here, just throw some things that you'd like to see this year.
Yeah,
any
we
questions
totally
that
run
you've
out of
got,
ideas.
just throw them out.
Yeah,
And we'd love to. We'll have a read.
we will. Anyway, Michael's question is: would love to see a show on amp modelers. What about Quad Cortex? I'd love to see your panicked faces.
it's difficult for us to do this. We've talked about it before. There are so many people that do those shows so much better than us. We've both done the digital thing. We've both been around that stuff for a long time, but this is, we're just going to do stuff that we really like.
Truth be told, we don't like them. We don't like the way they sound. We don't like the way they feel. They can sound fantastic. Of course they can. You've heard them sound fantastic in a million videos. They record really well. Here's where I am with amp modelers. There is no guitar tone that's ever been made with an amp modeler that I prefer to all my favourite guitar tones.
Yeah.
All of my favourite guitar tones ever have been made with great guitars and usually tube amps. All my favourite guitarists ever did and still play tube amps, and I prefer all of their sounds over anything I have ever heard from an amp modeler. So until that changes, until I hear a sound out of an amp modeler that I go, I like that. I actually like it. Dan mentioned being angry at gigs before.
That's some footage, yeah.
I have been angry at gigs when I hear digital amp tones.
Okay.
And I put my head in my hands and I'm like, if you just give me 10 minutes with your rig, and I can get rid of that and put something else in that's going to make you better, that's going to make this band sound better, and that's going to make me happier, I'm in. So that's where I am on amp modelers. I've yet to hear a single sound from an amp modeler that I prefer over my favourite sounds throughout guitar history that have been made in a different way.
Yeah.
When that changes, I will be running in here. I have owned a bunch of amp modelers, by the way.
Yep.
I've had to deal with them through years of guitar magazines, so I'm not green about amp modelers.
And
I will run in here enthusiastically saying to Dan, they've done it, let's go.
Yeah. Will be that amp modelling show.
And then we'll do it. But until then, I just...
Yeah. And the thing is, we're not saying they're not great. Of course they're great. And in certain contexts, they could even be better than having a valve amp on stage.
Yeah. Practicality, cost.
All that stuff, amazing.
All that stuff.
Amazing.
Of course, it totally goes without saying.
What we're doing is we're saying, okay, I've got a 1961 AC30 there. I promise you that is as good as an AC30 sound I've ever heard. And what the amp modeler is doing is trying to cop that sound, and it might get really close, to a point where it's like if you heard them in isolation, it'd be like, yeah, it's amazing. My point is, I've got a 1961 AC30, and it's amazing. I've got a matchless. That's these are sounds that have created tones that have lit me up my whole life, and I really like them, and we're allowed to like what we like.
Yeah, that's it. And I have absolute and total respect for anyone who is of the opposing opinion and who loves that and it lights them up and they love it. And I'm all over that. And play what you love, and nothing else. And that's what TPS is about.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I get a bit impassioned about it, it's because I read so many comments over the weekend where it's sort of become accepted into the mainstream guitar world that they sound the same, and that seems to be something that people accept, and they just don't. They just don't, and I don't like it when that happens. I shouldn't really be that worried about defending it. I sent you a text message about it, didn't I?
You did.
I was like, God, why am I trying to defend this? It's ridiculous. It's politics.
Yeah.
But I do feel very passionately about it, so
yeah.
There we are. So yes, until one day we will both hear a sound created with an amp modeler where we go, holy shit, they've done it.
Yeah, great.
We're in.
Yep, we can clear some space at the back.
Let's get rid of all this. We're in. Happy New Year, says Plexico.
G'day, mate.
Thank you, Duncan. Happy New Year to you, mate. Stratman Jerry, what about a vintage wah show, fellas?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. I've never gone down the wah rabbit hole. I've always just used like a standard Crybaby or the full-tone Clyde McCoy.
But whenever we've done it, it's like, oh, there's a couple of standouts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you play one you really like,
Yeah.
and you're like, ooh,
Yeah.
yeah, that works. Let's do
You can understand why there are people who are really into their wahs are really into their wahs. When there's that recording of Stevie Ray Vaughan version of Voodoo Child. Voodoo Chili?
Voodoo Child's Slight Return is the one you know.
Right, okay. And that wah sound in the front of that is the one that I keep going back to. I just think it is the most extraordinary thing.
Oh, sorry, Slight Return. Voodoo Child, Slight Return. Sorry, it's the last track.
Okay.
Voodoo Child is the one you're thinking of. Sorry, God, how did I get that wrong? I'm going straight to hell.
Yeah. So, there are those sounds that I've heard and just gone, amazing. I had a wah pedal on the side of my board. I only ever used it in Sweet Child of Mine. But I remember doing rigs. There it is. Oh no, that's the Jimmy version.
Yeah, so they're saying that's Slight Return. I should know this.
Right.
I should totally know this. I can't believe I don't know this. How bad is that? Dan, I feel shamed.
Well, no, because it's easy to get. I mean,
Well, I've written enough flipping articles on it over the years. You'd think it would have gone in, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so again, it depends on the music that you're doing. Like I remember doing rigs I did a rig for Rob Harris many years ago. Rob Harris plays guitar for Jamiroquai, and so much of it was on the wah pedal. So getting that right, it's big deal.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Should get Del Casher on. Get him to show us what a wah pedal can do. I'd love to find an original print of that the Electric Vox Orchestra.
I'm just
You're
too
in, aren't
far
you?
down
Yeah.
trying to sort this out.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever. Anyway, the version of Voodoo Child that you know is the one, isn't it? With the...
Yeah. That's great.
Good. Right. James Blessed. I watched SRV live at the El Macambo recently for the first time. Insert lots of sweary words here. Awesome. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
West
They
Chiltern.
apparently they found that footage a long time after. The guy that owned the El Macambo hadn't realised it was recorded, or had forgotten it was recorded, and didn't come out until a long time after.
No way. It's such a great gig.
Amazing. Oh,
Such
man.
a great gig. Good. Right.
Cabell Studio says, I love the wah episodes. Can't stop thinking about goldfish. Is that when you're making the wah sounds with your mouth?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Benjamin Popper says, what say you about the Strymon Flint version 2? I think they sent us one, didn't they?
Yes, they sent us one.
So
I know we've got to
send get on that.
Yeah, we know we've got to send it back. Have to get on it. And they sent us that, and I think an L cap. Yes, an L cap as well. So yeah, really want to try them.
What have they done? The new?
Well, they've gone from a 5-knob version to a 6-knob version. So for example, the L cap now has the reverb on a separate knob on the front. We used to have to go into a secondary function. They also now are MIDI programmable, so you can have presets in them. I'm not sure what the 6-knob is on the Flint. I'll have to have a look. But yeah, they look great.
Groovy. Groovy.
Groove henge.
Okay, everyone. Thank you for being here. As usual, Jimi Hendrix faux pas, getting angry about amp modelers.
Nice. Kicking off the year in style.
But above all
True
of that,
TPS fashion.
just love, endless love
Yes.
among us all.
Yeah.
Friends, thank you.
My love is only you. Oh, my mum took me to see that. She obviously didn't read the reviews before she took me to see MS Love.
Yeah.
And I was only like 10 or something.
Well, they're naughties in it then.
There were, it was naughty, in it? Mum was like, oh, heaven forfend.
Catherine got her mum to watch Ted Lasso, and they're sort of sat there going, the frequent use of fruity language.
Ah, funny.
Actually, this is old news. It will be old news for a lot of people. The game of soccer, football, people will know that Dan and I are not massive soccer fans. However, I watched a series recently with Ryan...
Gosling?
No.
Gooselberg.
Oh, God. Help me.
Gogglebox.
Help me.
Guggenheim.
Famous. He was Deadpool.
Ah! Ryan
Is it Ryan?
Griedenguber.
Rob Macaroni Cheese and
Ryan Griedenguber.
Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
And they bought Wrexham Football Club.
Right. Brilliant.
And it's basically like a real life version of Ted Lasso.
My word.
We started
Okay.
watching it. It is, for those of you who've seen it, you will know.
Right.
It is truly fantastic television. Some of the best TV I've ever seen.
That's very clever marketing.
It's super. I mean, both of them are obviously crazy smart.
Right.
Like off the scale smart.
Yeah.
In all kinds of aspects of things, but not least in making media. And it is
Amazing.
fantastic television.
Awesome.
It's called We Are Wrexham, and welcome to Wrexham. And yeah, it's. I don't know if it's old, or it might be new. I've no idea. Anyway, it's ace. It's completely ace. So there you go. That's my television recommendation.
Oh, we just watched Severance. You seen that?
Severance.
I think you'd like it.
What's it about?
It's weird.
Is it is it science fiction?
I guess you'd call it that, but it's not futuristic science fiction.
Is it fact based?
No.
No, I wouldn't like it. I don't like fiction. I just don't like it. Unless it's Scandinavian murdering. I like that.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Right.
The documentary that is.
The only fiction I like is the one I create in my own head every day. There we are. Right, filming tomorrow. Let us know what you want to see us do this year. We're up for it.
Yeah. I'm really excited.
As long as it's analog. Predominantly analog. Yeah, good. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next. Friday is basically an NPD for new pedals, and then we're sort of back into the swing from the following Friday.
Lovely.
Play us out.